And welcome back to Jay the Usual Multimedia Productions NFG Storm Crawlers. This is Jay the Usual Multimedia, your usual host, and we're here watching what seems to be some beautiful clouds up and above. As you can see, these are time-lapse videos. In the top right-hand corner, they'll have the speed that we're playing at. At the same time, seeing a different angle signal up top is showing us where in relation to the last scene we are here on the camera. So we have two different camera setups, as you can see on the right, and some billowing clouds. On the bottom left, we have our licensing contact, but not for broadcast tag. That'll be required of us for the meantime, so that way we don't have our footage pirated, because we wouldn't like that very much. And we're also not paid for these videos yet, so at the moment the music that you're hearing now is not ours currently, and we're going to have to figure out how to tag that properly too for the current moment until we get something production-wise for that. So this particular storm popped up relatively quickly. Very few people were aware at all, whether it be weather chasers, meteorologists, or just the average person, until they actually saw this thing lurching up. And this is part of a major storm system that was crawling up the east coast, I believe in a northeasterly direction, but I'm not 100% on that. Currently, it was, I believe, the second week of August. We will have proper dates and tags, and I believe it was posted in the first video that we had for this particular storm, but I wanted to add this in just because of the lower level cloud formulations that you're seeing above the tree line on the right. Now, that tree line is only about 20 or 30 feet high. Those trees are not very tall. So I am kind of concerned as to what this storm was classified as, just because the importance of trying to figure out exactly what storms are dangerous and which storms aren't is exactly what goes into our warning systems for almost every type of storm and any sort of damage that you would see incurred by that, whether it be to person, things that you own, or of course the city infrastructure and all that stuff. So these are things to keep in mind. Now, this beautiful footage, which we actually didn't plan to get, this is just an emergency camera that we ended up keeping up just in case, because the storm was, like I said, quite a surprise and pretty vicious. This image right here is something that I think will probably be cleaned up and used for quite a few photographs. I, of course, will have those optional and for sale on our portfolio website, www.jtheusual.myportfolio.com. You can check that out at your pleasure, and you can either contact us directly through any one of our pages, message us directly, or follow us on YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Meta, and whatever the hell else is. We're trying to be everywhere, like a virus, but more fun. Well, some people are having fun with viruses right now, but I can't understand it. So here we have basically the end of there's a little bit of lighting there. The end of this storm rolling in. There was a slight band of rain that ended up coming in right towards the end, but overall it was one of the most incredible filming days for storm stuff that we'd seen. And we'd actually been out in hurricanes. So you can see here we got Hurricane Henri in 2021, and I nearly drowned in Hurricane Ida, which I believe was also in 2021. But time tends to blend together when such fearful things happen all the time. But of course, you get to enjoy this by watching our shows and podcasts. So NFG Storm Crawlers, hashtag that stuff. Here's Billy Hayes from Welcome to the Tainted in This World. It's a page he runs on Facebook, but you can also check him out on NFG Podcast fan page, NFG Podcast with Jay the Usual Multimedia, and a whole bunch of other stuff that he's helped me out with. And of course, all the other people that have been on our pages that have helped me out through the years, definitely appreciate all this stuff. And glad to still be alive after filming this interesting storm front that came through. This was a couple of years back, back in 2020. I'm not even completely sure of what the build-up to this particular storm was. We did put out a video, but that was when we were running primarily on Facebook before we ended up getting the weird shadow bans and all that crazy crap, which we're now bouncing back from. So every share definitely helps our show, but it also helps us get better footage, because the more traffic we get, the more financial stability we end up maintaining through sharing this sort of content. So we definitely appreciate that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to share it. Share it, of course, obviously. That isn't obvious by now. Now here, you see these two foreheads that pass by. That are two foreheads of probably the most foolish people I've seen. Now, they had a camera up facing me, which I thought was odd, when they could have been having the camera facing that thing. But they were worried about what I was filming instead of just asking me, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with doing. But times are weird, so that's why it's been kind of tough to get as much footage as what I usually do. And of course, I'm also having to ride share because our car was destroyed by a foolish reporter riding around in the streets. My car was parked and he smashed into it. So now I have to hope that storms like this pop up, at least until we find ourselves a car. We did obviously have full coverage. Definitely got to make sure to do that. And I'm of course looking for the best deal and try to advertise with people, because we'll be shooting more and more footage like this as time goes on. Still have the drone pilot's license. I'll be sending drones near storms like this, but we can only come within a certain range. It's roughly 2,000 feet or so, at least from a horizontal perspective. But there are quite a few more stipulations when it comes to this. And of course, you got to stay out of fog laws. I'm thinking of coming out with a drone informational website / page relatively soon. And by that I mean within the before the year's end. Seeing storms like this on a regular basis is really, I don't want to say coercion, but it's definitely forcing us to try to get as many cameras up and out towards these storms as possible. And I haven't really seen much vested interest in it from any of the weather channels per se in particular, any meteorologists per se in particular. But that being said, I see these types of videos on a regular basis. I'm always intrigued by things like this. Seeing them in real life is incredible, but to actually have 4K film of it on a regular basis, and soon, and this soon is going to be within a couple weeks, we're actually going to have 8K footage on a regular basis for storms like this. And that's also a great benefit of our production business and all of our different shows, is it actually runs on very little cost. So you know, the more the merrier. It really doesn't take much for us to perform miracles, but we do need a tad. You know what I'm saying? So make sure to hashtag all that stuff. Hashtag JTheUsual Multimedia, hashtag NFG Podcast with JTheUsual. You can hashtag the NFG Storm Crawlers tag to find our old episodes on Facebook /Meta/Instagram. And this is still in the Fall River, Massachusetts area, as you can see in the tags there. I won't be overtly mentioning them in later episodes. This is kind of a pilot. So this particular storm here really had quite the building moment. What the hell was that? I'm not sure if that was a plane, bird, or what, but I just saw something fly out of that storm. What the hell is that? That was definitely a plane. Interesting. Huh. You can actually see the clouds come up. I'll have to zoom in on that in a later episode. I wonder if it actually punched through the storm. That's pretty cool. But these are the sort of things that I find on a regular basis, and when you film in 4K, there's so much detail that you never know what you're going to find. And we've even found weird things like UFOs, some strange phone numbers calling me. I think I know who that is, and I'm not concerned with it. So basically, storms in general will look iffy when you change the speed that you're playing these storms at in replay, but I wanted to make it known that in a time lapse, this isn't even a storm. This is just cloud cover. But even this, at the same type of speed that we were just playing earlier, can make a little bit of cloud cover look very dangerous. And it's really not. There wasn't even any rain and very little wind. So, that being said, these storms are not killer. I'm not sure if there was a tornado formed in that particular storm that we played earlier, but it was possible, and it was reported further down, further north into the Massachusetts/Rhode Island area. So definitely follow, share, like, comment, give us any information that you can. We definitely appreciate it. We always like to learn, and anything we learn, we like to share. Back and forth helps us all learn and become a little bit more, and of course, the more we grow, the more we show, the more you view, the more we do. So share, like, comment, subscribe. Jay the Usual Multimedia Productions. Thanks you for watching NFG Storm Crawlers with Jay the Usual.
Oh.